bought the patch of land from our daughter who lives in the house just over there, Redstone Cottage, because we wanted to move closer to her family with grandchildren being young as they are. And we had approached retirement age and we wanted to downsize from our previous house, which was far too large for us. So we decided this building on a plot which was already there effectively was a good option.
It's quite good that we've actually reached this point because it's taken about a year of planning permissions and so on to get here, but now it seems to happen quite quickly. This nettle bed should be flattened, should be replaced by a floor, and the house itself is due to arrive in only about 3 weeks as far as I understand, which to a novice like me sounds amazing.
Hi, I'm Sue Dewhurst. I'm a Director of Evolved Design Limited, and for this project I'm the architectural consultant and also the energy assessor.
I'm Chris Dewhurst. I'm looking after the project as project management, working in relation with the client and the contractor so that we coordinate together and make sure the project runs as smoothly as possible.
I was asked by the clients, Tony and Trixie, to design a home for them where they could live and work. They wanted really to downsize, they wanted easy living downstairs, so we've designed them a 2-bedroom bungalow downstairs, but the whole of the upstairs has been taken over as a work studio for Tony and Trixie. Tony is a glass sculptor, and so he wanted really, or they both wanted a live-work unit.
It's a higher energy efficient building which is moving towards the way buildings will be built over the next 3 or 4 years. Use of some novel techniques such as air heat source and insulation performance which is higher than building regulations would require.
This project's quite unique, and Shropshire Council recognised its uniqueness as well in saying that it was one of the most sustainable builds they'd ever had put before them. We've had to clear some of the woodland and chop down the trees, which are now going to be used in cladding the new building. So what our end result is to achieve a really sustainable build for the clients using local materials, local workmanship, rather than bringing people from all over the country.
Well, we're going to start clearing this week, clear the site. We've got to relocate a few trees, and we're going to start excavating, ready for the kit, which is coming in 3 weeks' time.
This is going to be one of the first that we've worked with EcoStruct directly, so we're supplying the timber frame kit to EcoStruct.
Well, we're using local timber. Also, the client is supplying local timber for the cladding from the site itself, so that's going to be quite unique. It's very high performance. We've got mechanical ventilation and heat recovery, so it's going to be just a very high performance new home.
The I-beam timber frame system was manufactured in the factory with the insulation installed in the factory conditions. This is ideal because it means then that the insulation is where it should be and doesn't become disturbed when you're trying to fix your first services within the panel system. The timber frame panels were designed so that the insulation is installed with the air tightness membrane in a factory and then a service void put on the inside, so that all your first fix, plumbing and electrical items do not disturb the insulation. What you're doing here is future-proofing to make sure that the insulation stays as good from day one as it will in all the years to come. The timber frame had been designed using an I-beam construction as opposed to using a solid timber stud. Reason for this is that we wanted to get a much better level of insulation in the external walls and also minimise the amount of thermal bridging. This is where you're losing energy through the transfer of heat through a solid timber stud, and using an I-beam has less losses. So we used a 195mm thick wall to give a thermal performance of 0.16. And this compares very well to current building regulations, which currently say you need to be achieving about 0.25. We also incorporated the use of an air source heating system, again because of having a good air tightness and good thermal insulation. We were able to operate using a lower level of heating throughout the home. The return energy was collected and then used to heat the hot water system using an EcoScent system. This was based around heat recovery, but also could be helped in the summer by introducing ventilation into the rooms and cooler air. Hardwood windows and doors had U values of 0.7, again giving a very good thermal performance. And by using an Intello air tightness membrane, the air test, which normally has to achieve a minimum of 10 air changes per hour to achieve building regulations, in this home are less than 2 air changes per hour, which means that we're not losing energy through poorly fitting windows and doors, poorly fitting areas between roof to wall and floor to wall junctions. The SAP energy assessment that was undertaken achieved a B rating, which shows that this house is actually in the top 5% of homes built throughout the UK, achieving a much higher standard than would normally be obtained.
On the whole, it's gone very well. A few bumps and lumps which you always get with any type of new building, particularly with the sequencing of building events, and things maybe not falling quite into line, but on the whole, very well. I think the cooperation between ourselves and the clients, working on the concept side of it, because they have got obviously certain things they wanted doing and completing by, particularly the fact that they're artists looking for certain detailed features to be built in. So working with the clients giving us a lot of impetus into getting the thing right, which is at the end of the day it's their build, so it's got to be right. The build itself is a very practical property. It's been built to the specification of the client, so maybe not everybody would want some of the features that's been built in, but as a whole it's a very good showcase for us and for the builder that's been doing the work with us.